That was the moment. It showed me that, wait a second, I can accomplish more than I think I can. And I finished this race by breaking it into segments and thinking, okay, it's a 2.4 mile swim. Oh, I'm halfway to the turnaround. I'm at the turnaround. I've only got to do that again. Rather than going, oh my God, it's 140 miles and beating yourself up, you learn ways around that and breaking things in a small segment, which totally transfers over to business. You all of a sudden have this huge project you have to do. Well, you do part of it, and then you do the next part, the next part. So it transferred over to life, and that to me is what the value of this sport is. Besides the fact that our last interview today, or next to last interview, was with a guy named Mike Levine, who was told in July of 2015, you've got pancreatic cancer, and you're going to be dead in 6 months. And he's racing on Saturday. He's racing here.
Incredible.
Yeah. And the funny part of that story is that he watched the February 82 Ironman with Julie Moss and Kathleen McCartney, and he was inspired. So he did the Ironman in in October of 82. Because of the finish with Julie and Kathleen and the response from it, they added a second Ironman in October that year so that the rest of the world could train for it. Because up until then, it was a February event, which meant who can train for it? People in California, really, or you live in Hawaii. Well, now people in England or other parts of the world could train for it. So this guy, Mike Levine, went over in 82 and again in 83 and did probably over 100 triathlons, but he was inspired by Julie and Kathleen. So when he got pancreatic cancer and his wife reached out and said, Bob, we're putting Mike in hospice, and I would like if you can help me put a group from the 80s together for a little barbecue as a farewell party to Mike. So I got John Howard, the 81 champion, and Julie Moss, and Kenny Souza, the duathlon. We all came over to their house for barbecue. It was a farewell party. He was going away and was going to go die. Well, all of a sudden, Kathleen McCartney, who was sick and couldn't join us on the ride, was the inspiration for him getting into this stuff, called him up and said, hey, let's go for a bike ride. And he goes, bike ride? I'm going to chemo 3 times a week. I'm laying on the couch. They go for a bike ride, and they have to stop every 3 minutes. Then they start riding more and more and more, and he gets a new doctor, and his lungs are clear, and he's riding 150 miles a week. And Kathleen calls me and goes, Bob, he can do Ironman. Call NBC, the TV guys, and they were like, let's do it. And we surprised Mike on June 29th with a spot in the 2017 Ironman World Championship, and he and Kathleen are here to do this race together. But that's the power of this sport. That's what this sport does. You think back to Dick and Rick Hoyt and what a father would do for a son. If you think about it, Dave Scott won the race in 1980. The numbers didn't, and we were on ABC, numbers for the sport didn't grow that much. But when Julie crawled, right, when a 22-year-old co-ed with freckles who could be your daughter, your next door neighbor, who could be your girlfriend, you could relate to her and what she was going through. And then when you saw her collapse over and over again, and she's wearing a borrowed bra and she's pulling herself, and people watching at home are going, this is the craziest thing I've ever seen. This is unbelievable. And what is it about that finish line that's so enticing that someone will crap themselves and collapse on that finish line with a smile on their face to get there?
And everyone else wants to do it too.
Exactly. And they took her away on a stretcher, right? And back then, Wide World of Sports was set up, they did segments, 20-minute segments. So Ironman segment was done, they went right to ice dancing. And so the last thing people saw was Julie being taken off on a stretcher. They thought she was dead. So the phone lines at ABC lit up. Nobody knew what the heck was going on. And so they had to fly Julie and Kathleen, both of them 22 years old, to New York to be on TV with Jim McKay, the dean of TV for ABC Sports, to assure the American public that event, the Ironman, didn't kill Julie Moss. And that led to the second Ironman that year. That led to the United States Triathlon Series. That led to Budweiser and Coca-Cola all jumping on board this crazy, stupid, wonderful sport.
You must have a real sense of pride and ownership having been involved right since the beginning. I mean, you literally have been involved since the very beginning of all of this.
It's, you know what, the pride comes from seeing our Challenge Athletes Foundation, which was built off of triathlon. Jim McLaren was an